Good evening, Randomania 2. Hope everyone out there is having a great night. Welcome to another edition of the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. Say hello to the people, Edge.
Hello.
And Allie as well.
Hello.
Looks like we're off to a pretty good start here. Ice 3 in the first shop, and Brack for entertaining strats.
Ice 3, always my favorite elemental spell to get.
And Brack for the two bosses will help a lot if you don't find Nuke.
We put the restream together on short notice, so appreciate everybody's patience, including our runners who had to wait a little bit extra for me to get everything set up. And thank you to all of you who are joining us. Ed, you want to explain what round flags we're dealing with?
Yeah, so this is round 4. The goal is to defeat Phantom with a forced party of 1 thief and 3 black mages. So of particular note, and we find an early ruby and a crown. So crown not necessarily required since Phantom is in front of the locked Mystic Key door in the Temple of Fiends. But with this early crown, we may see some locked, maybe TNT locked in Canaria or the Dwarf Cave.
The loot also not required, so some runners won't pick it up in order to keep their items sorted in the way they want, but it's not going to hurt you to pick it up any. Because the rules in this race are to beat Phantom, you don't have to open the key lock door and you don't have to use the loot to break the plate.
So we've noticed a couple of the runners electing to go to Temple of Fiends, and then some others taking the early bridge. Allie, what is your preference playing this when playing these seeds?
Honestly, I prefer to go to Temple of Fiends for the many reasons that there are lots of free spaces that you can go through. Something interesting, I might, and like if I've got a good spell early, I could face Garin. If I don't, I'm pretty much going to go back to Cornelia if it's a lot of money and like I can buy spells with it. If not, I'm pretty much going after that to Matoya's and hope for able to Cornelia if it's a lot of money and like I can buy spells with it. If not,
Well, Discord might be
Speaking of the pirates, speaking of the pirates, we have Files headed right into Provoca right now, and Bismarck right behind. And with Ice 3 available, should make pretty short work of these pirates.
Yeah, when you have Ice 3, you know you're going to be able to kill them. You just have to get lucky enough to go in front of them doing anything crazy.
Yep, and there's Bismarck leading off with an Ice 3. So the ideal situation, you go first, you save a lot of time.
not great spells in level 2. Zap and Temper are the two that people will look for.
Bismarck picking up some wooden armor for the thief, pretty useful in the early game, especially against multi-hit enemies that may be lurking in the Marsh Cave. Although with early Crown, it's very likely that TNT is not ended up in Marsh Cave.
think most runners will take that crown bait before they go to a marsh cave dive. There's other situations that make it harder. I mean, you could have an earth cave like we had the other night, where if you were, I guess, wise enough, we'll call it, to dig out all the floors, you were in go mode before the vampire.
It is an outcome that is as likely as any other individual outcome, but I'm sure our runners are hoping for Floater to be somewhere other than Marsh Cave tonight.
This is going to pop to grind a bit. Probably hoping for some giants.
Ice 3, not necessarily the best spell for pop, but any levels you can get are probably going to help you in the long run. Warp and Fast at level 4. Good and bad. I don't like to have I don't like to have another spell on the level of Nuke or Warp. Having them on the same level is kind of bad.
With this seed, I don't really like Fast and Temper. It might be a preference because you know you will have great spells, and when you have Nuke, Fast. And with Fire 3, Lit 3 at level 3, you could take Lit 3 just for the wizards, but even then, you've got enough firepower, but it might be easier to get those spells before you get to your black mages to level 8.
And I think over the course of doing the crown quests that you will pick up enough money to be able to buy Fast and Temper and Warp on all of the black mages. So the effect of having 2 desirable spells on the same level is kind of canceled out a bit by the fact that you have 3 mages that know Warp. Bismarck's going right for Astos right now. 3 ice 3s.
The good news is Astos probably doesn't have too many hit points. The bad news is he might, but not relative to Ice 3.
He seems to be hitting hard enough to knock out the little mage that could. One standing left, and he's going to get a few levels off of this.
Astos is actually surprisingly good experience. It's kind of a shame almost that he's not farmable.
Put in a request for farmable Astos in the next version that comes out.
You never know, they could do it. They've done all kinds of crazy things with the randomizer already and continue to look for more.
It would be interesting. You could shuffle the encounters, the 4-style encounters around. So the kindly old king of the Northwest Castle turns out to be an Agama.
There's one thing I wonder with Bismarck having a level 9 black mage. Will he put it on the back row to make sure he gets less attacks? That's one thing I would do, but I'm not sure if he will do it because, like, honestly, it will be helpful for end game because he really needs to have the person that is the most likely to survive a fight. Those mages to be in the back row because, like, it will help him in the long run.
So that's a good point. I think in the early game, maybe about through Marsh Cave, I would probably have the higher level mage in the second slot because you are slightly more likely to get hit and you have more HP. And the enemies in the Marsh Cave with this percentage are not likely to just outright destroy you. But for the rest of the game, absolutely. Put that guy in the back row and keep him there.
Peninsula Power doing a number on File's party, but he's got 2 mages surviving who are now level 12. I can't imagine he wants too much more than that.
Question in chat from First C. No, they're not working on that right now, but just a little fun thing that I thought of. I'm not sure if that'll pick up any steam, but the developers already have enough on their plate as it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you've looked at the new beta version they have yet, but the expansion of flags is incredible at this point. So they've got a big update in the works. They're just trying to work on making it stable and finding the little bugs that we find.
If you really want to find the goat, like in the like Merv, what's the name of this show? I'm forgetting, but if you want to find the probably in this with an Nancy device chest. There are many things that are interesting with the new randomizer, especially.
Saw a black shirt in the treasury at Elfland. That's a good little utility item.
Opal Gauntlet, unfortunately, not selling for very much. Question in chat, where was Crown? It was in the upper left chest of Temple of Fiends, along with the ruby.
With all those spells, honestly, I wouldn't even look at magic shops. I don't know what else I could find that would be good for my black mages. I'm wondering if other people will check them past level. Because, like, you've got Fast, you've got Temper, you've got Root, you've got all those level 3s, Firelit, Ice. Or what are you looking for?
It's a good point. Everything that you wanted to see is in the first 4 levels. It looks like Bismarck has decided to go back to Astos and check out what he was hiding in the back room there. Finds the Sun Sword. Thinking about resetting and does.
One thing I might say about spell levels is if you could get a 2 that's at a higher level, you wouldn't want to cast it as much anyways, but just the benefit of having, say, 3 or 4 more spells could pay off. And there's our TNT. Vanilla, who rolled this thing?
It was me. Not even random.
Good for Zalnap, first of our 4 runners on stream to get the TNT. And with a couple of our runners already having the key now, it's going to be pretty quick for all of them to get the TNT, I would assume. As long as somebody doesn't do something crazy like a Marsh Cave dive.
Oh,
In
that
before
might be
Files
off.
makes a crazy Marsh Cave dive.
Yeah. Good payoff? We'll see. Does have warp charges though, thanks to the pop grind, so this won't take him as long as the other runners.
Also, not crazy if he finds the slab. Or that was Bismarck who found the slab, but not crazy if he finds the floater.
Yeah, as things stand right now, where you go to look for the floater is really going to open this up. You've found Go Mode Floater. It always feels weird in any sort of Final Fantasy randomizer run because you know you're usually in Go Mode after that. May have all the progression items, but you would be looking for equipment at that point.
Quad X at level 5, that's what you could still be looking for.
Really was the only one that I was thinking of that would be useful, but to be honest, with all of the powerhouse spells on the at level 4, I wouldn't even bother doing the screen transition to 5. Those are some cheap gold bracelets.
Okay, admittedly there's a lot going on, and I'm still setting some things up, so it's easy to miss things. Did Files get the key? Nobody
No,
saw
this
it?
is looking... It wasn't in the inventory. This is looking like very much the ultimate gamble here.
That's a play. Considering we knew the key was available, I thought the Marsh Cave would make more sense if you could get everything. Of course, all you gotta do with this is be right once. Bismarck gonna feed the Titan. This sets up an interesting play. What if he goes for the full Earth Cave?
With plentiful Fire 3 charges, there's no reason not to.
He also was able to pick up the Opal bracelet out of that.
So, Allie, knowing what we have right now, which of the dungeons would you prefer going to at this point?
I would do Earth, honestly, because you have enough charges of Fire 3 and Nuke. Probably only one item you're looking for, and if you've got it, you are pretty much in go mode. But like, I would understand people who do Volcano because like there's no really right or wrong. But like honestly, I would love Earth Cave right now.
Well, now Files is going to talk to the kindly old king and find out it was Astos all along.
What a twist.
He may or may not wish he had done that sooner. As Fizzlebeath is going to translate the slab. Looks like there's a little bit of a walk off that power cycle. Bismarck taking advantage of it.
I hope Bismarck has enough tents to take advantage of it all the way to the front of Earth.
With the
because
shadows,
of that fight.
Shadows being the first encounter on the overworld in this area, that's not nice.
Even worse when there's 7 of them, but he is definitely hoofing it over to Earth Cave, so should have enough. And we'll see what he finds on the top floor here.
And I gotta figure the fact that he picked up the rod and came here means he plans to clear the whole thing out, which could be a definite advantage because it's a dungeon people like to leave for last.
Yeah, it's 28 chests versus the 30 of Volcano, and 28 including the 4 in Titans. So not a bad play, and you have to come here anyway. And if you're not planning on leveling to the point where things in Earth are going to run away from you, then you might as well go through here.
Just at 220%, sometimes you want also to be able to kill a fiend, and I don't think carry can be unfriendly at those levels.
Zanup's our second runner who gets rewarded going to Titanscape by getting the Opal Bracelet. Bismarck has been rewarded for this dive by getting the Bane Sword.
Yeah, and it looks like Fizzlebeef is going to head straight for Volcano. Might try to do a little bit of leveling outside of Crescent.
So do you think the low level Fire 3 played into Bismarck's decision? Or do you think this was the plan all along?
It helps.
And I wonder if he's just going to reset here, having found nothing, or if he's going to warp. He's going to warp out, and so I'm guessing he has a house. No, that's it. He's just going to dive 2 floors and then call it a day.
Miles has found the defense sword in Temple of Fiends.
So Zelnop has 2 level 8 mages, and it looks like the third one is Dan. So we'll see if he decides to go deeper into Earth and steps on the encounter tile. So Fizzlebeef, our first runner into Volcano. We'll see what he finds.
I'd be curious to see if Zaunop makes the same decision Bismarck does, just going the first couple levels, or does he go deeper? He does have houses. Looks like off-stream Crystal has taken his party, consisting in part of the Three Stooges, to Castle Ordeal. Don't know if he's picked up anything there yet or not.
I don't remember Dan being a stooge.
Should have named him Shep. Also off-stream, Minochi is in the Volcano as well. 9 runners in tonight's race.
Well, we found the Agament. It's in Volcano.
Crystal has finished Ordeal, so the only thing I know at this point is it didn't have floater. So with what we know now, that means it's either deeper in Earth, in the ice cave, or in the volcano.
And so far, it's looking like Ice Cave.
About 4% of the time, though, that ruby is required. Every once in a while.
Yeah, Zalnop is next in line, fighting these Earth Elementals here, and we'll see if he decides to go any further. Ooh, they hit real hard, and this might be a fight he resets out of.
I like getting through at any price, really, like using that nuke charge, so that you can check the treasures, and then if you don't like it, you can reset.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's what he's going to do right now. Yep. And looks like he's taking another shot in there.
I mean, the strategist in me just loves the play. Do something. Give yourself a chance to break it open.
And it's not, knowing sort of the meta, it's not a bad play with respect to Volcano. Again, the access to 28 chests versus the 30 in Volcano, it will take you a little while longer to full clear Earth. But if it's there, it's a big win over the rest of the field.
You have to take some gambles, especially because like it will be fast, and like you've got 9 people who are running the same race. So I do think if you've got a plan, you've got to stick to it, even if it doesn't look good. And especially it's probably, and like as everybody probably knows, it's a floater. I'm guessing everybody will have found this lab when they go to their favorite dungeons.
The other thing for these runners that have taken the ruby bait is they were rewarded with the opal bracelet, which might possibly be the best armor they get this game. They don't class change, but certainly the best the black mages are going to see.
And it looks like Volcano, very disappointing for our runner so far.
A lot of hit and run, getting a little treasure, leaving the dungeon, going back in. We're seeing a lot of runners do that.
The nice thing about having Warp is you can save your experience. And that looks to be what a lot of the runners are doing right now. Edge finding a ribbon in the chest next to the one guarded by the Fire Elemental at the upper left corner of Volcano B2.
File's dealing with the bats, which means you have to sit there and wait in total frustration until it moves.
Well, I mean, Jay Coper's not in this race. They gotta torment somebody.
Couldn't they zap some bats to a 4th dimension?
If they ever create the ability to fight the bats and you beat them and they go away, I think everybody's going to throw a parade for the programmers.
So one of the things that was discussed, you talk to a bat and you get a vampire fight.
So we still have yet to see how far down the runners are going to go in Earth, but Zalnap just got a very compelling reason to leave. Something had poison. And on a low-level party, that's pretty wrecking.
Yeah, that's no good. So Zalnop deciding to try this again later. Ooh, we have Grey Wolves with... Oh, there's Stone Touch. File's gonna try this?
Well,
Yeah, he is.
you know, with only the one soft, I might have saved it. Just in case I wanted it on somebody else more later. But he just had the one. The one thing about seeing a nasty skill like Poison and Stone Touch, for that matter, is if you're brave enough to continue on, you know it's a potential advantage over somebody who saw that quick and said, no, I'll go somewhere more friendly.
And I think even in the face of a nasty skill like that, just keep going. Oh, it's the wizard tile. But if you just keep going until you get wiped out, you at least may have the option of finding a couple of extra chests that your opponents might not know about.
Fizzle in the Agava room. We haven't seen a lot of Agava grind going on with these flags.
No, and especially not with an Agamo that took an Ice 3 of almost 400 damage and was still standing, so not a good grind spot this time.
Gold Bracelet's a very welcome sight, but he didn't equip it yet.
I think he's got a pile of gold bracelets already, though, from Melman.
Well, that'd be a pretty compelling reason not to. File's reset out of the Earth Cave, but he's going right back in.
Well, here's File's Tin Cup moment. Is he gonna make it down to the bottom or not? It looks like Tristal is also gonna dive Earth, and we'll see what nasty things he runs into, or doesn't.
It looks like a lot of our runners have reacted the same way to what we've found so far. We saw 2 of them, I think, go straight to Volcano. But otherwise, pretty quick Earth Cave dive. We don't know how far Files is willing to go, but the fact that he was willing to come back in, I think sort of tips his hand.
Minochi looking like the first one to fight Carrie, and Carrie being a little kind, leading off with Ink. But Carrie has just taken 4 nukes and is still not dead.
That's a good number of hit points.
So 6-1 did the job.
Alright, hopefully we can get a look at his inventory and find out. I don't see a floater there, so looks like we're dealing with either Ice Cave or it's deep in Earth. And being in the volcano section of the world and you've got Fire 3 and Warp, that seems like a pretty compelling time to go to Ice Cave.
Yeah, and I think the folks that bet on Volcano are probably going to go into Ice Cave next. But it's interesting to see that Volcano largely not required, the ribbon being the nicest thing that you found in there.
You're never going to be upset over finding your first one, are you, Ali?
What? Sorry?
You're never going to be upset over finding your first ribbon, are you?
Oh no, especially in this, because like you never know what enemies have nasty spells, and like we know that specters have poison, and if it's in Earth, it will be useful. And, like I'm sure there are enemies that it will help against some enemies and even some bosses. Maybe do use that extra nuke or Brax spell. That could make a difference between winning and losing.
And Fizzle Beef doesn't have nuke, so this is going to be a really hard fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ice 3 doesn't really work the best against Carry often. In fact, he's going with Lit 3 instead.
And that's going to do even less. Unfortunately, Carry resisting all of the base elements. Might as well go with the strongest one, which is Ice 3. And this Fire 2 could be bad. No,
Break out your Vein Sword with whoever has it. May not have the greatest odds, but it only has to work once.
Oh, another fire too. Yikes. Eight hits for 250. Oh, geez. He is very, very close to killing Carrie, but is running out of options.
31 damage is not much. Files did defeat the vampire and move on to the lower Earth cave.
Oh no, the Black Mage is out of magic. And the next thing up is Fire 2 on the old spell list. Oh no, now it's fast.
Well,
if that thief ever stands up, he's gonna hit like a truck, but he will never stand up again.
not much you can do about that.
Yeah, that's it for Fizzlebeef, unfortunately. It's got to reset out. And at this point, there's no reason to even go dive back in. You know that there's nothing good on the way down. He's going to take another try at it. There was a ribbon on the second floor. Yeah, and he decides to hang it up.
That'd be the one thing I would certainly consider. Just because you could get it out with warp pretty fast. So will he go Ice Cave? Because I still don't see any of the runners having done that.
Yeah, we've got 10 people in this race, and not a single one of them is in Ice Cave right now, which is surprising with access to warp. But it makes sense to do either Earth or Volcano first. But out of all of the people that have gone through Volcano, I really think Ice is your next best play. You have to assume that there were some people in this race that took the Ruby bait.
Did anybody check Ramlock Marsh?
No, that's another place. Files checked the bottom of Marsh and found nothing, but he didn't have the key when he was there.
And Bismarck's going to be the first of our runners on stream to restore an orb.
Files running out of resources here, and it looked like he was trying to save some mute charges. It's only got a 3 for Lich, and not much health.
Looks like Will Bloodworth is also in the Earth Cave.
Gosh, that poison left that Black Mage with 6 health.
Hey, we got Czar in the chat. Hello, Czar. And File's about to get to Lich, which leaves us with just the Ice Cave and the Crown-Locked Marsh at this point. We have checked everything else.
So 16 chests in ice and 3 in the bottom of marsh. It is most likely going to be in ice, but it is a non-trivial percentage that it's going to be in the bottom of marsh.
I just find it remarkable that with the setup of spells we have, that none of our runners went from Volcano to Marsh. Now, we don't know what Zalnop is going to do yet. But to see Fizzlebeath and Bismarck come back across the world... Files often likes to make an early ordeal play, but at 40 minutes in, I wouldn't really think this is early anymore.
So I can totally understand skipping Ice Cave if you're going strictly by the numbers, but the fact that you didn't get Ruby and Volcano, that you got it early, has to lead you to believe that other people went through Earth already. And those people are just going to be way ahead of you. They'll be in go mode. They'll be able to go mode Volcano, and that saves a ton of time. So, really, your best options to still win are to check Marsh, the Lock Chest in Marsh, and to check Ice Cave.
Yeah, and like you have many choices. Like often when I don't get rewarded, I'm pretty much thinking I've got to do some meme strats to be able to have a good time, a great time, and especially with those. If you want to be close to the top person, you'll want to go in a place that might not work usually. That wouldn't make no sense logically, but you got to take a risk.
Question in chat, was ordeals checked already? It wasn't on stream, but off stream we saw Tristal go all the way through it, and he did not get fluttering there. So we know that ordeals is off the table for that. And I do like that of our runners who left Volcano without the floater, that we didn't see them go to ordeals per se, because you know somebody else did first. You may not know who, you may not know how many, but you know somebody went to ordeal already.
Oof, Zalnop getting roughed up by Carrie, and he's just going to leave knowing that there's nothing in there that he wants to keep.
This Volcano has been kind of an unfortunate time loss for a lot of runners because you invest all that time and you don't have an orb lit. Bismarck was able to get through it.
Yeah, Bismarck and Minochi both able to get through it, and Minochi going through Earth right now as well. So, I have to wonder what his next destination is once he clears this out.
I'm not sure if Marsh or Ice would be the next play for him, but those are the two I would probably consider. Because like he probably doesn't know what's in Marsh because he probably didn't check, and you've got the crown, so it's probably much easier to go through all those chats.
Admittedly, the meta constantly changes as runners develop different strategies, but for so long it seemed pretty automatic. If you didn't get what you wanted in Volcano, if you were set up halfway decently, you'd go to Ice next because it was the closest. And the idea that you have Warp and you can skip the eye fight in about a third of the dungeon? I'm just amazed not to see anybody doing it yet.
Looks like Zalnop is going to Ice.
Well, and from what information we have, that's a pretty big advantage right now.
Only problem is Zalnop is has yet to kill a fiend, where some of the other runners in their current routes have been more successful. So if he finds the floater, that will be a good mechanism to catch up, but he's by no means ahead. It largely depends on where the runners who have killed fiends decide to go once they've finished Earth or Volcano.
And again, we still have 3 unknown chests sitting right down in the bottom of Marsh. So Zalnup has made the stronger percentage play, but it's not a guarantee. There are no guarantees in Randomizer.
And one of the benefits of having the 3 warp on 3 black mages means that he should have enough charges to get back out if he finds the floater early.
Looks like Edge Figaro has finished defeating Lich. I think Will Bloodworth has done the same. So a few runners getting past that Fiend of the Earth.
Yeah, Minochi about to do the same as well, and once he's done, he'll have 2 fiends out of the way, and it's anybody's guess where he goes from there.
No Artea, no Earth Floater. It's either in Ice or in Crownlock Marsh.
No, now that you've successfully shifted the meta for people to check Earth, it wasn't there.
We only have a couple of our runners that took that initial bait, but then a couple of them came here after Volcano. Which I suppose in one sense I can understand that, because you're thinking the most common play is go to Ice, so you took a strategy to set yourself apart. But in this case it worked against you because that's what everybody did. Goes to show, sometimes you should make the more obvious play. And what could be unfortunate for Files is, because he already went to Marsh, that is the last place he's going to go back to for those Crown Lock chests. So from here, you gotta figure he'd go Ice and Ordeals before he would get back there, which could take some time. And Edge Figaro is in the Marsh Cave. What I'm not sure of is if he's got the key.
Well, he must have, because...
Never mind. Zalnup has found the floater.
And, yep, looks like time to burn off all of those warp charges. Has just enough to live.
And with everybody being where they are and having the Mystic Key, as Files just took a wipe to Wiz Ogres.
So, Lit 3 and Blaze, yikes.
I'm just not sure who's going to get to that ice cave next, because if you're already over here at Earth, Marsh Cave with the key looks very compelling. It's the closest place you could go. Ordeals is the fastest place you could go. I'm just not sure who's going to get to that floater next.
And, as if to answer your question, there's Fuchsia Fantasy and Ordeals, and Minochi in Marsh. So, nobody going there quite yet, and this is all very good for Zalnup, giving him time to catch up.
Yeah, now he still has to go do the rounds, but the idea that he could do this in go mode? Still has to find the bottle, but we know that's going to be for sale. Tail not required. He'll have to pick up the cube.
This is a good time to have a lot of Lit 3 charges, though, so Zelnot may, with plentiful Lit 3 and Fire 3, Sea Shrine may be a good choice for him.
So Edge.
I wondering what Zelnop.
Go ahead, Ali.
I'm wondering where Zelnop will go first to on his store of killing fiends.
Well, he's landed outside the volcano, and we get Bismarck with his second orb.
So it's time for the Carry Revenge tour.
Shouldn't take you long to get back there. So if you made the Ice Cave play as Files gets his Fire Orb lit. If you made the Earth Cave, I'm not sure what your best case scenario is. Maybe Ribbon and Moss immune. But I haven't had a chance to see what treasure they found in the Mystic Key chests. Alright, Files, are you gonna make the Ice Cave play? With him having already done the Earth Cave, I feel like he's the most likely runner to go to Ice from here, I think.
I don't know, Fives loves ordeals.
And Zelnop needs to be careful because Carry could very easily wipe him in this fight.
Got the nukes, which is going to help his damage output quite a bit.
Good roll on the nuke too, and Fire 2 probably the best thing to see here. Just has to avoid getting smacked by Carry. Should be good to go from here.
Is Files going to Marsh?
Yep.
So he thinks it's the key-locked chests.
He may feel like he's so far behind that the only way he can catch up is if it's the key lock chest. He also hasn't checked these three here, so it could be a possibility that he's just looking in here on the way to greener pastures.
I don't know that anybody's ever referred to Marsh Cave as greener pastures. That
I mean,
might be a first in the history of this game. Bismarck is headed to Ordeal. Hey,
Question in the chat. Hey, well, this would be a good time to give a summary.
Well, Slab was, or Slab. I think Slab was early actually with the Crown in Temple of Fiends. TNT, where was I don't know. TNT was like vanilla, pretty much. It was like in Crown Lock Corneria, and the floater was actually in Ice Cave or the Ruse, as one Niaus would say.
And so
Now
far,
some money.
our only runner to find it there.
Yeah, Crown next to Ruby in Temple of Fiends, and Slab in, I believe, Dwarf Cave. So, Go Mode Floater made for some interesting routing decisions, and it paid off big for Zelnop, who's going to go get the Chime right now. And I think if I was Zelnop, I would take a ton of fights on this peninsula on the way through. He's a little starved for experience, and Fire 3 does very good work on Zombles. And now Zelnop has the Chime.
First runner to do so, he still needs the cube to be able to dive into Mirage Tower and get the Sky Castle. Which isn't a play I would mind at all, because if you're going to spend a lot of time in a dungeon, why not have it be the one that's going to give you the best experience?
Yeah, like that's one reason why I really don't like finishing Volcano early. Because it's carry can hit you for a truck, and Agamas are not that great of XP.
And Zelnop, still padding out that lead. No one has gone to ice yet.
Just amazing that with 9 runners to not see one make that play.
But it looks like he's gonna go dive into... He's gonna go dive into the waterfall, but his thief is dead. And this is not good.
Might have just forgotten it, but I'd probably roll with it at this point, because I'm already halfway in here. I would have liked reviving him first.
I mean, if this works out, he'll be in good shape because of extra experience points that he gets on the mages, which is absolutely what you want, but this is incredibly risky.
We only have the one unrunnable encounter, and it's rare.
The famous gas D's.
He's gonna make it... got a hero run through this, and looks like he's just gonna nuke this group down. It all depends on how much damage these guys have rolled. And, all the mummies couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, so he's in good shape here.
Yeah, that worked out very well for him. Just don't take for granted that you won't get another fight in this room.
Well, he doesn't have to take another fight now. He just talked to the robot, but he is going to check these chests out.
Well, when you still have Masamune and Tail available, admittedly Tail doesn't do a whole lot for you, but a little bit better equipment for a ninja.
I think at this point, with the plentiful access to nuke, all I really care about are ribbons.
Same here. I don't really like finding the tail personally. Well, Masamune would be something because like the thief could do something, but aside from that, I don't really want to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's certainly out of the list of nice-to-haves. I think I would rather see ribbons than Masamune, but at this point, I might not even open another chest for the rest of the game.
Looks like Bottle was in Onrak. Trolliest location it can be, even trollier than vanilla.
Well, that always feels bad, and we'll see if Zelnop elects to go to Sky, or just decides to head back to Onrak and then into the Sea Shrine. Looks like he's saving Earth for later, and... Oh, it wasn't in Onrak. It was in the Oasis, so...
I saw him use an item, it fooled me. I thought he got out with the bottle. My bad.
No worries, but finally gonna have the Oxy out.
And Tsar's not even here to see it, he went to get dinner. Can't get his famous line in.
And spells like Arteris saying it in chat, Brack will take care of Tiamat and Kraken, which is probably the safest and kind of party. I think it's probably safer than trying to nuke, hoping that they roll low HP.
Well, it looks like Files decided that was enough for him.
Well, it wasn't...
Crystal is in Ice Cave, so I think we'll get him in here next.
Edge Figaro also in Ice Cave, and he is the second to find the floater. And now escape as well. So we've got everybody to ice escape, and this is going to be kind of a mad dash to the finish. Zelnop has a pretty good lead at this point, with Minochi having 2 fiends already down, though he is probably pretty close behind. Tristal also has 2 fiends down.
Yes, Fives, it was an ice cave.
It's like Zelnop's running for it, Bismarck finding the floater. So at the about hour mark seems to be when everybody else has picked up the floater. So we'll see whether Zelnop's lead is maintained or if the other runners can catch up at this point.
Still only 1 orb, so I think for him, biggest thing is get that second one. If he's got Sky Castle done and potentially Sea Shrine done, Earth is not going to take as long as those 2 dungeons.
Like, I don't think he's going to look for anything. He pretty much is in go mode.
I think I would have been tempted to nuke these nachos here.
Also looks like Will Bloodworth is in the ice cave, so everybody now is starting to get the floater right around this same time.
Yeah, Zelnop has taken care of all of the overworld fetch quests, so he has saved a little bit of time there. He still has to go through all of the floors of Earth, so that will take him a little bit of time. Certainly less than people that were checking all of the chests on the way down. And he is across the bridge, and we'll see how he decides to deal with Tiamat.
No more exciting yet. He didn't pick up the Bane Sword because that was in Earth Cave.
I don't know if he picked up Brack.
It doesn't look like he picked up Brack, but Nuke is not a bad contingency plan.
I mean, if you have to, but it's Tiamat. If you don't use Bane, what even is the point? Okay, I mean, I guess there's withering and everything, but still. I guess I should update the name here.
Alright, and it looks like Tiamat didn't have very much HP, so down in about 4 nukes. And that is your rare lit for Zelnop. Tristal making good progress, about to pick up his chime as soon as he gets away from Pack of Frostwolves. A question in chat, Bane is the one where he needs to be under 300 HP. That's Quad X. And now he gets dogpiled in chat.
He even corrects himself.
And Zelnop about to head into the Sea Shrine.
So being able to go mode Sea, Earth, and Sky, definitely saving a ton of time. right now, Tristal has to pick up the cube as well, so he's got to do some river sailing.
Will he even dip into the Sharknado room, or is he gonna totally go past everything?
Well, it looks like the lobsters had it out for him. Yeah, he's not gonna dip into any chests at this point. And Bismarck is making some pretty good progress, and you gotta fight this one, buddy. Sorry. Hope you have a light axe.
Ice 3 on the ghosts. That's not your most common spell for them.
The problem is that Mage in the second slot does not have very many spell charges of anything. He knows Ice 3, he knows Nuke, and that's really it. And he is taking a pounding from this formation.
And
So,
2 mages, even one at level 18, to try and get all the way through to Kraken? That's a bit rough.
I think you warp out and try again.
Especially with no Brack, it will be really hard to get those nuke charges before Kraken one-shots you, probably.
Yeah, that's true. I could see this being doable if he had Brack, but not so much now. And he's not even healing in between fights, which is sort of an inauspicious decision. Here we go. Yeah, Kraken is not really going to care whether or not you have the Opal Bracelet or not. And, oof.
I think you've got to get out of here now. You can't do this on one black mage.
First 6624 asks what this Brack is used for. It's a poison spell. It has more effectiveness than Pain, but it's only against one person.
Well, there's a small possibility that Kraken has no health. So we'll see if this is one of those seeds. Nope.
More than 270 hit points. Bismarck in a little bit better position to tell us what he's got.
Yeah, and at this point,
that might even make it worse.
Oh, that's rough. You might have been able to do that with 2 mages, but not with 1. And Zelnopt is going to go pop grind, and this is the lead relinquished here.
This is not actually my favorite spot to come do this, is when you've got the airship.
And like you could probably either go close to Mirage, or one place I really like to do is also close to your Sea Shrine. You could probably get some Sharknado, go to the Sharknado room and get levels there. There are many places you could gain levels. I don't like really. Our Peninsula is good. I don't really have access to but aside from that, I don't really like that.
He still needs the Earth Orb, and let's see. Yeah, he still needs Earth. He's got Volcano and Sky right now. I'd go to Earth Cave if I were him. Pick up experience along the way as you're fighting. It won't be a lot, but you've got to do it anyways.
And we have Edge trying some Brack strats on Kraken right now.
I don't know, Archaea. I don't know why they don't buy Brack.
Nope. Brack missing 5 times on Kraken, and Edge Figaro goes down.
Bismarck is now working his way through the on-rack area. Probably going to go waterfall first.
Meanwhile, Minochi casts Brack and lands it on the first try.
Of course he does, he's Minochi.
Having some calamari for lunch.
Well, you know how lovely it is to have an octopus tail owned. It must taste really good.
I think since we've got Minochi further along, I'm going to swap him in here now.
And Bismarck picks up the cube, while Minochi deals with... Yeah, so Bismarck and Minochi almost lockstep with one another at this point.
If my keys would work right, that would help.
So, Bismarck and Minochi in the lead right now, with everybody else currently barreling through C for the most part.
And I believe we're behind on Crystal's orb count. I just haven't seen his screen to update that yet. Yeah, this is his third orb.
And he's going to elect to nuke down Kraken, and oof. Early living with 6 health, and this ought to do it. Minochi jumping ahead. And they are probably going to get the same encounters in the same place. Bismarck getting a little lucky with it looks like the sentry hits real hard tonight. One of Minochi's black mages going down. Stogie Town taking a dirt nap.
Oh, that sucks.
Crystal using his mic tonight, that's fine. Just trying to see who we can use for game audio.
Tristel making up a lot of ground on Minochi and Bismarck, but They all have about the same encounter tables, so there isn't going to be very much RNG from this point onward. All of the runners that we see in the top 3 here electing to power cycle. And we have Minochi going for Brack strats. And lands it on the second try.
I like seeing that. As a runner, you like seeing it work.
Bismarck finding out that Tiamat has almost no HP, and he is out of and on his way to Temple of Fiends as well.
So unfortunately for Zalnap, he was the first one to find the floater, but just wasn't able to make enough ground with it.
And Minoshi's has to go pick Stogie up, but Bismarck has his entire party, so he is slightly in the lead here right now, and we'll see if he can hold on to it. Looks like he's not electing to power cycle here, so he has a different encounter table from Minochi, and it's probably going to come down to this. Is he going to run into Gas Dragons where Minochi won't? Minochi getting
like
a worm
he knew
encounter.
Exactly where he was in the encounter table. That was
Bismarck
remarkable.
getting a hero run.
Boy, if he knew that run
that's
was
gonna
there,
do
that's
it.
the play of the game.
Wow.
Get your GGs out, chat.
Bismarck finishing with an official SRL time of 1:16:37. Mono finishing in second place with a 1:16:55.
I freaking won!
Did you tell us how you really feel,
I
Bismarck?
freaking won one! Yell, I gotta be quiet.
So I have to ask, I noticed that going into Temple of Fiends, you didn't power cycle on the way through. Did you know exactly where you were in the encounter table?
I had a really, really, really good idea, because I remember those 3 encounters that you get within 4 steps inside the dungeon. You get them 4 steps in a row, I believe, in the overworld, if I remember right. But I knew that it was either 1 or 2 after that. There was a super long spread where you didn't run into any encounters. I just couldn't remember how far along it was, so it was a calculated gamble, is the best I can say. I didn't think I'd make it that far. I knew I was close, but I didn't think I'd make it that far.
Well, it certainly paid off, the difference being a worm encounter for Minochi and none for you. So congratulations on your win.
Thank you. I feel like I'm overdue for one.
And Tristal is going to on his way to Phantom to finish this.
Tristal making up quite a bit of ground to notch a 1:18:10. So Bismarck, take us through your routing a little bit. When did you end up finding Floater? About what dungeon was it for you?
Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? I avoided the March Cave completely. When I saw the early Crown of Ruby, I figured go ahead and do the Crown Chest. Pretty good chance the TNT is going to be in one of those. Better chance than it would be to be in the March Cave. So I did that, found the TNT. Did the first 2 floors. Earth Cave. I really thought about finishing Earth Cave, but I only had 2 charges of warp and no other nukes, and I didn't have any houses. If I had the houses, I probably would have finished Earth. So once I realized what was going on with that, once I realized that I wasn't going to be able to finish it easily, I figured fire was the next logical step because I hadn't gotten the canoe yet. So I went over there. Obviously nothing there. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and knock out Earth. And then I died leading up the Lich when the specters just proceeded to, slobber knock me with poison. And thankfully, I had one ribbon. It's the only reason I made it through there. And one-man Lich. And I was like, well, where should I go revive at? Let's go to Elfland and revive, and then we'll head straight down to Ordeals. So I would have went to Ice first. If my whole party had been alive, Ice would have been my next choice. But because of getting almost wiped in Earth, I figured Ordeals would be the next step because it's close to a clinic. So that was kind of my thought process. It wasn't exactly what I planned, but it's kind of the way it worked out.
And we're joined by Crystal now. GG, Crystal.
Hey, thank you. Well, this one went a little better at least, but still looking for that victory. GG Bismarck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
GG Bismarck.
Feeling good. Thank you, Minochi.
And we're joined by Minochi, finishing in second. GG.
Not so much. Did you guys all last check the floater?
I didn't check Marsh, but yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, same here.
I did everything. So the floater was the last spot for me.
I skipped Ordeals, so I should have been faster.
We have Salty Fry finishing in 5th place with a time of 1:21:02.
Would have been so nice if it was in the Marsh lock, crown lock chest though.
I'm guessing everybody else full cleared all the lock chests that weren't in Marsh.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't think I did. Castle.
Oh, in Temple of Fiends.
Temple of Fiends, not Northwest. West.
Nope, I did them all.
Yeah.
It's just no luck today. It's alright though.
Did anybody else full clear Earth?
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, wasn't
Second.
that Masa was freaking hype. Loved it.
Yeah, we had
it,
Nuke.
helped.
We didn't really need Masa that much.
We have Brack.
We didn't need Nuke, but it was Massa, but it was helpful in a couple situations. Like it helped with Phantom. It was just one less round I had to spend on Nuke.
No, Phantom one-shot my Thief right away, 400 damage.
Oh wow.
Well,
Okay.
But, 3 nuking Black Mages didn't matter.
I mean, all the spells you need was Fire 3, Lightning 3, and then Ice 3 plus Brack, pretty much.
I didn't even
I
pick up
barely
Lightning
used Nuke.
3.
I got everything.
We're joined by Edge Figaro, who just finished with a time of 1:22:15. GG, Edge.
Man, Kraken refused to be bracked.
See, I knew one of these days I'd win by not using the split strats. Just throwing it out there.
Kraken
I
wasn't
didn't know it'd take like 6 weeks or 8 weeks to do it, but I knew it'd happen.
Yeah, there was no Brack in that Kraken for you.
I'm saying.
The chance is pretty high for Brack though. Well, Kraken and Tiamat too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But he was a lightweight. He only had what, like 700 health, 600 health, something like that.
In that neighborhood, maybe lower than that.
Yeah.
It's like what, a 1 in 8 chance of Brack on either Tiamat or Kraken.
A little bit higher.
It's better than that.
Yeah, is if you use all 3 with Brack, you land like 50% of the time. So
Question from chat, and one I'm very curious of the answer to. We saw none of you go from volcano to ice. Was there any particular reason you care to share with us?
Yeah, I didn't because I knew that we were going to have to complete Earth anyways. And the steps in Earth are really not that far out of the way, especially after clearing the first 2 rooms. I figure I've got an extra, 70 steps. It's really not that bad. And Ordeals is so far out of the way, and Ice isn't necessarily far out of the way, but like I said, if it was in Earth, I'm way ahead because Ice is a bigger go-to than Earth.
I went from volcano to ice.
I did as well.
So you
Of
guys
course, my
went
logic
Earth
may just be
first,
wrong.
and then volcano to ice.
I went volcano to ice. Yeah, I think the main driver for me was seeing Files forfeit. Like, well, if he thinks he already lost, it's because he went to Ordeals and didn't get anything.
Damn it, Files.
I don't think that really told me anything. My path was I got tricked by Ruby a little bit, so I went Ordeal, Earth, Volcano, Ice.
I don't know how much time I lost by clearing Earth, but certainly enough to make the difference between winning and taking, what, 4th? Whatever it was. We were
I cleared
separated.
Earth too, so
I full cleared everything, so
yeah,
there's no point. I full cleared everything except the...
everything pre-floater.
Yep.
And we're joined by Salty Fry and Zalnop. GG to both of you.
Hello, GG.
So yeah, my Discord broke on me, but I was gonna say what was I gonna say? Oh hell, this is what happens when you have a 6-month-old.
So, Salty, I wanted to ask, didn't get a chance to follow your stream very closely. How many dungeons did you clear before finding Floater?
I ended up clearing everything. Ice was literally the last place I could have gone. The only place I didn't go before going there was the 3 chests that were crown locked in Temple of Fiends. Those were the only ones I did not check.
You should grab the defense sword there, man. It's helpful.
Defense sword's awesome.
It was just so far out of the way, and once I got the TNT, I just said, screw it, we're getting out of here. But then I ended up checking Astos' castle and Marsh Cave eventually. Astos' cave was on the way to Marsh Cave when I was going there after. I went there after ordeals, so.
Oh, I thought you guys go like volcano, since you guys gonna clear Earth anyway, and then you guys drop by Mars. That would be like...
I went volcano first. I didn't want to go Earth because I figured everyone was going Earth. I did not want to do the same thing as everyone else.
After the last 3 races?
No, I mean you guys went volcanoes and go back to Earth.
I ended up going volcano and then Earth, and then well, the problem with after Earth, I ended up only having 1 character alive because I got wrecked by the specters that had what did they have? Something bad, yeah. And so I ended up going to Elfland to res my characters, and then whatchamacallit, Ordeals was in close proximity, so I went there after that.
So, Zelnop, we noticed that you were actually the first out of all the runners to find the floater, but unfortunately you had a really rude sea shrine.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was in the lead for a lot of that race. I felt like I was doing very well with the choices I was making and all that stuff. But yeah, the sea shrine, and I'm like, well, time to go get levels, I guess, because there was no way I was going to get through there with what I had, so.
Where was everyone running into issues in sea shrine?
I didn't run into any.
The problem I was having with Sea Shrine was just the way the encounter table was set up with like those 5 encounters in a row.
Yeah.
And then like so having I don't know enough about the encounter table to manipulate it very well. I can manipulate like the very beginning of it, but manipulating the middle or writing down like all the encounters and things like that is like still beyond my skill level. So when I was running into the 4 encounters in a row, the lobsters,
yeah,
if I got lobsters, they were just hitting my party too hard. Because I was only level like 14 when I went in there or something.
I suppose you bought 3 or 4 gold bracelet, right? Plus program.
Yeah, but they were still hitting for 120. So.
Yeah, I just throw out a nuke when I see them.
Yeah, and that's what I did to get through the last time I ran through. Was I was all right. If I see lobsters, I'm gonna throw down a lit 3 or a nuke to get through that encounter. Yeah. But then it kind of made all the encounters in Sea Shrine unrunnable. So
effectively, you could also do the run cast or run cast.
Yeah, and I was doing a little bit of that too.
Yeah, it was just your first time through there. The turn order was very unfriendly, and I think...
and that was with a power cycle, and like hitting those 4 encounters on floor, 3 or 4 is just not good. And like wiping on Volcano didn't help either. So,
no.
But if I hadn't had the wipe in Volcano and I didn't, get the bad Sea Shrine, I feel like I could have ran away with that race pretty good.
That's one thing I did do too. Oh, go ahead, Minoshi.
Oh, I got wiped in Volcano too with Blaze. Was it hyenas or
exact
or
same
is it-
thing.
or-
Wiz ogres that had
Okay,
blades.
yeah, it's one of those party, and then I got wiped.
The
with
Wiz
Earth
Ogre
too as
didn't
well.
cast Blaze on me, it cast Lit 3.
Oh no, they
That's
had
a lot
both.
to me.
They had both.
Yeah. I didn't even know they had Blaze.
Yep, it was a few times, but that's what happened to me. I had cleared the volcano chests, and then on the last floor, I got wiped by the Wiz Ogre. So I just decided, okay, power cycle back in. I'm just gonna bum rush carry.
Anyone got stoned to death by the wolves in Earth?
Yeah, I had to nope out of Earth as well. Like, I was gonna go down and try and clear Lich super early, but the wolves and the specters just said nope, and so I'm like, I'll come back when I'm higher level. So I noped out of Volcano, Earth, and Sea Shrine.
Dang. Yeah. I got hit by one.
Did you like at least level in volcanoes? Like
I just leveled as I went. I didn't really stop and level at all. I did like a couple fights on Peninsula Power after I wiped into the Sea Shrine just to get a couple levels. But
I see. I usually pick up with early Ice 3. I just go to the second floor volcanoes with the fire elemental. And
Sure.
you just spam Ice 3 there.
I did take a couple extra fire fights.
Yeah.
I went back to Peninsula Power because not just because I wanted levels, but because I wanted money to buy all the spells, and it paid off.
When I was wandering around in Volcano, I kind of just leveled up a whole bunch because it felt like every second step I was taking was like 4 P'd, so I just kept taking those. By the time I was out of there, I was level 14s just by walking through.
You must not have power cycled off that.
We do have one runner left still going. Fizzlebeef is working his way through the Sky Castle now, just clearing the Blue Dragon.
And really, despite getting 7th place, like, I feel like that's a really good result, because we all finished within 10 minutes of this.
Oh
run.
yeah.
So
I was
at low chaos points for everybody, and my goal basically is to get less than half a chaos point every round.
For the record, no one's ever said that before, so just want to throw that out there. I'm going to bask in the moment.
Congrats, Bismarck. You did great.
You know what's funny about this is
I don't think Bismarck was playing, guys.
It's only the second time I've run this party composition. I did one practice race this past weekend, and I got 5th out of 5.
I just got done with another solo thief run, and the pirates had thunder in that one as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I learned something from that because I remember I went to Peninsula Power and I leveled up, and everybody just stomped the sin out of me, and I'm like, what the hell I did wrong? So I went back and watched a couple, and I'm like, oh, no one's grinding, everybody's just kind of running.
Yeah.
And so I figured, what the hell, I'll get level somewhere. Let's see what we can do, especially with a level 4 nuke and level 1 Ice 3.
Sure.
And level 3 Fire 3. I figured, what the hell, let's do it.
If you
seemed to work out.
If you're spending more than like 3 to 5 minutes tops grinding in this seed, you're going to lose. It's preferable if you don't have to grind at all, but if you're going to grind, don't do it for more than like 3 to 5 minutes.
The last try for Warmac coming up here. Fizzlebeef is on the bridge.
Yeah, did any of you guys run into Warmac?
I was so scared that I was gonna hit like the 5 encounter thing on that bridge. I did not want to get the multiple encounters on the bridge at all.
Well, the way the bridge works, those 5 would have hit regardless. Like, because it's I think the encounter table on the bridge is what, 24 out of 256, whereas everywhere else in the dungeon it's 8. So it's like 3 times as likely to have a fight. But if that step was supposed to have an encounter normally, it's going to happen on the bridge too. Main strats.
And not a lot of people picked up Rack. That kind of surprised me. But maybe it's me that loves the meme spells.
I got it, I never used it. If I felt like Kraken or Tiamat was going to be particularly hard to kill. Like after 1 round it's not dead, 2 rounds it's not dead from nukes, and Massa hits, then I would have broke out Brack, but there was no reason to.
I just went as slim as humanly possible on spells and everything else. I figured I don't really have the skills that some of these other runners have. It's the B team. So I tried to waste as little time as possible, and I made some pretty big mistakes. Like I forgot to go to the waterfall cavern, and had to turn around to go back to that after I got the chime, and I had some miscues in some shops. But other than that, I felt like my routing was okay. I was kind of surprised I won, to be honest.
How far into Mirage were you before you realized, shit, I don't have the cube?
Oh no! I as soon as I got the chime, I was like, oh hell, I forgot to get the cube.
Oh,
so okay. I just got back in the airship. I mean, I had to walk back to the waterfall cave because I had went to Onrak first, so I could do the water shine with the thought process that I'd go up to the waterfall afterwards and then move on. And I don't normally do that, and I guess and I haven't been running much lately, so I just blanked out.
For the last time tonight, here comes the Phantom.
Let's go, Fizzlebeef.
Yeah,
let's go.
And Lord Fizzlebeef finishes with a time of 1:25.52.
GG to Fizzlebeef.
Goes Phantom.
And we're joined by Fizzlebeef right now. GG.
The next time you guys coordinate finish times, you really shouldn't leave me out of the memo. It's very unprofessional of you.
Next time, sorry.
So yeah, how about that 100% clear looking for the floater? That was fun.
I did the same.
I have no excuse. I didn't even go to Ordeals, and I still finished 4th.
So by the way, Minochi, you might have put up the rare second place 0 score. Not official yet, but it looks like it.
Wait, how is it 0?
If you were less than a percentage point away from the winning time.
You were 18 seconds behind first place.
So that might work out well for you.
It's not automatically a 0.01 if you didn't win. So if you're virtually tied,
oh, that's good then.
Enough.
So I'm not so salty now.
That's good.
Fizzlebeef, how long did it take you to find the floater?
I'm not kidding when I say, well, all right. I'm only slightly exaggerating because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chests I didn't check in ice. Other than that, I checked them all.
I mean, after the you got the slap and then you got the floater and you walk out. That's what I did too.
I did at least get Mazimune out of Earth, and I got Opal somewhere. I don't remember where.
It was in Titan's Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I figured that.
Start to wrap this up. So, Zalnup, why don't we start with you? Any final thoughts?
I think this flag set was pretty fun. Other than that, I thought I did a lot better this race than I have in a lot of my other races. So, it was fun.
Will, any final thoughts?
So close yet so far. Triple zeros have eluded me again.
Salty?
Yeah, thanks for the restream and thanks for commentating.
Minochi.
So when are you playing one of these flags, Chinton? I want to see you on the future stream.
I'm not racing the league, but I do usually practice the rounds. I did this round about 3 weeks ago, and I need to do one for the next round.
No, I mean just join the race for fun.
Well, I would have to not be doing something else to do that, and I was doing 3 jobs tonight, so that's about as likely to happen as you skipping lunch.
That's not happening.
I just did the math on this. It looks like Minochi did get a 000 on this. It was about a 0.004. So
0039.
Yeah, exactly.
Fizzle, any final thoughts?
Always follow early Ruby, never follow early Ruby.
Correct.
Edge number 2, Figaro, any final thoughts?
No. I'm super happy to commentate a race sometime soon. This is going to be fun.
Bismarck, winner's prerogative.
Stick with it. That's all I can say. It's my 50th race. First time I've won one.
That'll give me something to look forward to.
Allie, was fun doing this with you tonight.
That was fun. I learned, you learn stuff, and I think I've seen stuff different. Like when a lot of people use different strategies, and finally all go towards the same place at the end. Find the key item they needed.
Okay, Edgeworth, take us home.
All right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Again, if you're interested in what you saw here, please follow the runners and take a look in the Discord. We have a very friendly community, and we're always on the lookout for to help out new players learn the randomizer.